I'll call Ms. Nazima Raguber to start opening the session.
Thank you so much, and good day, everybody. Thanks again to the Rotary Club of Georgetown for facilitating our address here today as the Guyana Together campaign. Our featured speaker, I am sure we were stuck in the same traffic. I'm going to pull off some magic today by trying to read without my glasses. Nobody tells you that post 40 comes with all of these excitements. The Guyana Together campaign is a grassroots effort to increase acceptance level among Guyanese and to reduce the level of stigma and prejudice of the LGBTQ plus Guyanese. Launched in 2023, the campaign has focused on sharing stories of LGBTQ plus people who have found acceptance and support from family, co-workers, neighbors, friends, and religious leaders, among others. Over the year, we have launched multiple videos showing the love and support of allies. We have also had endorsements from multiple organizations and agencies and movements. We're here today to continue to push Guyana for a national conversation about each other and how each of us can help to make changes in terms of unity for the Guyana we all love. We feel that these efforts would help to reveal and strengthen Guyana's majority support for repealing the discriminatory law that criminalizes consensual intimacy between men. Our featured speaker today is Mr. Nikhil Ramkaran, a lawyer and partner in the firm of Cameron and Shepherd, and I must say, a photographer also. Nikhil specializes in civil litigation, banking contract, commercial, corporate insurance, intellectual property, mining trusts, and is also skilled in handling maritime issues. His legal practice also includes ship arrests, accident, and matters involving stowaways. I also wanted to mention that he has a very illustrious photography. Can I say career, Nikhil? He is an award-winning. Welcome to the media life where you're poor. At least you have a lot to fall back on. He is an award-winning photographer, a self-taught photographer, and he was encouraged by his grandfather, frequent purchase of cameras in his youth, where he developed a keen eye for observation. And over the past 15 years, I think we're all familiar with his work. Nikhil explored the art of photography, finding it to be an artistic outlet, counterbalancing his stressful job as a lawyer. I would take this opportunity to welcome Nikhil Ramkaran for his feature address. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So I am going to start with a digression, which I hope you'll forgive, and I will say hello to everyone properly at some point. I am a bag of digressions, thinly disguised as a human being with a thin veneer of social understanding and mores layered on top. So you'll have to forgive me for quite a bit of stuff as I go along, but I have no doubt that you all will. Anyway, this is my first speech at a public forum in a long, long time, insofar as this is public, of course. And I wanted to make an observation. I despise, and I hope you will spread my opinion far and wide if you can, I despise it when people say all protocols being observed. It is stupid, it is lazy, it is possibly incompetent, because if you have to say that, you obviously have not properly done the job of observing all protocols. It's redundant because you must have observed all protocols in order to say that all protocols are observed. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way at one point before you all collectively as a society ban me from making public speeches. All right, so with respect to the rules of order in terms of greeting people at an event when you're making a speech, most of those people already know that they are important and they don't need you to pad their ego. It is useful because it is a format, but if you want to give these people a genuine greeting and genuine respect, then you should do so genuinely and not simply observe rules of protocol. So, hello to you all. Thank you for being here. And I'm about to observe my own protocols, which is to say, you already know your worth. And I recognize you all with respect. Whether you're the president, an ambassador, a minister of government, or a minister of an invisible sky magician. Sorry, I'm not religious. I apologize. I do respect religions. Whether you're an important person, self-professed, or recognized as such by other people, thank you for being here. This is not a random group, obviously, and you all don't need to be told the purpose for this gathering, nor do we need to interrogate individually or as a group the support of the objectives that we are thinking about and talking about. We are here to discuss a truth, not a truth that might more accurately be described as religious or philosophical meandering, not a truth disguised as a fact and stated as such only because the speaker doesn't know what a fact is. I want to refer to a truth that is self-evident in the manner that the framers of the American Declaration of Independence contemplated when they said that all people are created equal. Of course, they're speaking from a particular time in history, so they said all men are created equal. However, I'm sure had they been alive at this point, they would have said all people are created equal. There are so many forms of entitlements and characteristics that we identify as beneficially ours, uniquely ours, whether we are individuals or groups. These proprietary adopted characteristics and entitlement then become the bases of prejudices and our belief in our own superiority in one manner or another. For example, by way of context, I'm walking down the street just now to get here, and there are beggars on the street. I work hard. I'm better than them. They're lesser than me. They must be unworthy because I am where I am and they are where they are. So everyone has their religions. The one that I ostensibly should subscribe to or ascribe have many gods for many occasions. My God can do lots of stuff, but there are other religions where they have only one God, and that one God can do everything. So whose religion is better, mine or theirs? I must be superior and entitled because I'm the one making the judgment. Now, it doesn't matter how we identify our entitlements and our characteristics. It doesn't matter what group or groups we identify as belonging to. We are, in my belief, always subject and always will be subject to the irrationality of our own superiority and our own entitlement. Now, I'm just kind of appealing to absurdity with the religious and the example of the beggars and so on. But personally, for as long as I can recall, it has been a practice of mine, sometimes not followed as diligently as it should be, sometimes to the other extreme, that I like to self-examine every opinion that I have for prejudice. Have I been prejudiced? Whether I expressed the opinion, whether I thought it, however I came to an opinion, however that opinion is expressed to my own person, I have tried to self-examine for the purpose of determining whether I'm prejudiced or not. Constantly, despite this kind of interrogation of my own psyche, I have fallen to one prejudice or another, unconsciously, sometimes with my unconscious prompting my my subconscious prompting my conscious, and I've fallen prey to one of these prejudices. It has happened, it happens to all of us, it will continue to happen to all of us, or most of us, I should say. I want to speak for you all. Speaking for myself, I have continuously fallen for this flaw in rational thinking. I will continue to do so because we are creatures driven so heavily by our subconscious, so heavily by our socialization, so heavily by our experiences. And our experiences change us from youth to adulthood to seniority. And all of these flaws of ours, they change as we go along. You have to be vigilant at all times, continuously. Now, one of the facts that I rely on for my own rationalizations is that we are collectively a species of animal. You might not agree, you might have some divine explanation. My explanation, and the one that I accept, is evolutionarily based, and that we are all animals. You don't have to accept what I say, or you don't have to accept what I accept and what I believe, but you should be guided by some sort of belief. Now, a part of my belief in our evolutionary development is that a lot of the characteristics that define us are based on survival, are based on the challenges that we as people, as humans, whatever type of human you think you are, our species as a whole, we have faced these challenges. And we have faced them for millions of years before we were even called human, or before researchers even think that we were human. But these things drove our survival as a species. We cannot get away from those instincts in the span of a generation or two or more. However, as we have developed as people, as opposed to animals running around trying to survive and live, we have developed certain understandings. And one of the understandings that we have developed as a species, as society has advanced, is that we have an obligation to each other. And our obligation to each other is to treat each other with respect, care, understanding, and without discrimination. And the discriminatory aspect of our inclinations, our subconscious, our development as a species, drove our survival. We have transcended the need to merely survive. And that transcendence has occurred a long time ago and continues to develop as we go along. We don't have to fight other animals for food. We don't have to fight for warmth. We don't have to kick people out of their houses or their caves, as the case may have been. We no longer have to do that in order to survive. We have to recognize these developments because it is not likely that we will simply fall on these understandings without work. The reason for that is that our biology is both one of the most beneficial things that we could have gained, but also there are chains and barriers. Our biology bars us from instinctively reacting for the protection and the understanding and the respect of our fellow people because of those prejudices that we have. They are not me. Therefore, they should not be treated the way that I am treated. And those prejudices, driven as they are, in my belief, by biology, need to be overcome by the intellect that biology has also given us, by the ability to think and reason, the ability to understand both ourselves and everyone else. We can look at a person who is suffering physically, and we can feel sympathy and we can assist that person. But physical suffering is not the only suffering that exists. We have an obligation to make use of the intellect that our biology has given us and to use it to transcend that biology, to understand our prejudices, to understand the way that we have to treat each other, and to move towards a society where we can have a complete lack of discrimination on the basis of a physical, mental, or any other characteristic that is different from ourselves. Now, we have, of course, I mean, these things they have their nuances. You can't say that murderers exist as a class of society. Obviously, if you're putting murderers in jail, you're not discriminating against them. So you cannot say that the characteristic that someone has that causes discrimination goes across the board, but we are smart people. We understand how these things work. We understand nuance. We understand that not everything is black and white. So we are capable of moving ourselves forward to a place where prejudices are no longer the basis for discrimination. We have to move ourselves to see that we are all people. There is not a single person in this room who looks exactly like any other person. There is not a single person in this room who believes exactly the same things as any other person in this room. But we don't see those things. Well, we see how you look, of course, but your internal person, your thinking, your reasoning, your beliefs, those things, we can't look and see that those things are different. And I will not come up to somebody who I think thinks differently from me and implement something that causes them harm simply because of that belief. Now, Natasha, Ms. Vera, and I, we are enemies quite often. Or we should be, if she would do more trials. But nevertheless, we sit across from each other with the intent to maim, hurt, damage, kill even, with respect to the cases that we're doing. We won't do it physically, of course. But immediately, the second the judge says this matter is concluded for the day, Natasha and I are the best of friends. I would call Natasha and ask her for help if I need help with something that she can. That is the basis on which we have to approach systemic discrimination, which arises out of individual discrimination based on those misunderstandings, prejudices, irrational considerations, and other things like that. Now, you murder somebody, you go to jail. If you aren't murdering somebody, then you shouldn't go to jail. It's as simple as that. I mean, again, there's nuance, you defraud and whatnot. If you harm somebody in a manner that is against the law, you deserve to be properly tried, properly heard, and if so found, go to jail. If you are in any way enjoying companionship, enjoying the social nature that we have inbuilt each of us, in private, with consent, where it is mutual, why do we have laws against that? It's completely irrational to me that we have such laws. And this dovetails, my beliefs as a whole dovetail with dovetails with SASOD and the organization that we are here speaking on behalf of, to say that don't get in anybody else's business. If they beat you, if they stab you, if they kill your best friend in front of you, by all means, go to jail and go ahead, prosecute them. But if you are not harming someone, you're simply exercising your inclinations as a person, as somebody who is a friend of, somebody who is a sister, brother, or uncle, or cousin, or whatever it is. If you're exercising those things in a manner where the person that you associate with, the person you're friends with, the person you're spending time with is consenting and agrees to this, then there should not be a punishment associated with it. Anytime government gets its hands into an area of social consideration where the government does not belong and is exercising a prejudicial consideration on behalf of prejudiced people who seek to discriminate against other people, then that should not continue. We have an obligation, whether it is quietly spoken in the halls of power, whether it's spoken on a platform, whether it's spoken to an empty arena, we have an obligation, even if that seems to bear no fruit, we have an obligation to, in one way or another, defend against irrational prejudices and discrimination. Thank you very much.
You could not have gotten it more thought-provoking and direct than that. Please give our guest speaker another round of applause, please. Again, the Guyana Together campaign, you can visit our website, guyanatogether.gy, and there are lots of information there, the videos that we have released since last year and the backstories behind those videos. I'm also going to take this opportunity to call for your endorsement. We have many organizations, commercial entities, movements that have endorsed the campaign, and all we need from you is about 3 sentences and your logo or an image that you'd wish to share. So I'd like to take this opportunity to call on you to endorse the Guyana Together campaign. You can also follow us on all socials. The young people here, I'm sure many of you have TikTok. We're on TikTok, we have a YouTube channel, we have Instagram, and we have Facebook. I'd like to call Joelle Simpson right now, our Manager and Director of SASOD, to deliver the vote of thanks for us.
Thank you, Nazima. Okay, it's fine. And very briefly, I know we promised an overview of the campaign's successes, and I will do like an elevator speech version of that. The campaign, the Guyana Together campaign, was launched in early September of 2003, and we've now had our first full calendar year, so just about 16 months. In those 16 months, we have launched 3 videos with messengers representing different demographics of Guyanese society, and those feature stories from a lesbian woman, a gay man, and a transgender man, along with the allies in their lives, including a second mother, a sister, and a good friend. Views of our videos and our content, both on social media and mainstream media combined over the past 16 months, have surpassed 3 million. And we're very happy about that. Our television video PSAs are also often in newscasts and on popular TV stations, local TV stations, as well as being advertised on our social media channels. We've had over 100 businesses and organizations endorse the campaign, and scores of individuals pledging, signing the Guyana Together pledge, including many Rotarians who were invited to do so in January when we were first here for the launch of our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion project. Our partnership with Rotary this year has been very instrumental in bringing our message to professional leaders across Guyana, both in the private and public sector. So I want to give a big shout out to the Rotary Club of Georgetown for partnering with us this year. Let me say briefly what you can expect from us next year. We want to take the message to other Rotary clubs as well. So I'm going to expect Natasha to link us up to other Rotary clubs in Guyana, so we could do events like this with them as well and reach more people. We also will have a focus, particularly in 2025, in engaging and bringing forward the voices of religious leaders and trade union leaders to call for decriminalization of same-sex intimacy. So those are some of the key achievements we've had over the past 16 months and some of the things that you could look forward to from the campaign in 2025. With that said, I want to thank the media, first and foremost, for supporting the campaign and the campaign messages over the past 16 months, and want to invite you to continue to work with us in 2025, not only by covering the events, but interviewing some of the messengers that we've been able to spotlight and do deeper interviews and stories and features with them. So thank you for your partnership. I think the media plays an important role in educating the society. I want to thank the Rotary Club of Georgetown again, especially Rotarian Natasha, President Natasha. When we started this work early in the new year, she was the secretary of the club, and now she's the president, and she's been a strong support and ally, and I want to thank her for that. And the rest of the team that we've worked with over the year, including Devindra Kisoon, Nicholas Passard, Ryan Curtin, and others. I also want to take this opportunity to thank our own campaign team who have been working tirelessly behind the scenes, our media consultant Nazima Ragabir, our monitoring and evaluation officer, Jaffe D. Mendonza, our communications liaison, Kwame Gilhouse, Parallax Studios, with the CEO here, Philip Drayton, who is always doing our live stream and photography at all our events, and also all of our other photographers and producers we've worked with this year, including Trayvon Barker of Keynote Productions. I can't say anything else except take the opportunity, since I'll probably not see you again in the Rotary setting before the year is out, to wish you a joyful, healthy, safe holiday season, and extend best wishes for a productive and prosperous 2025. Thank you all.
Once again, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Georgetown, we wish to thank Guyana Together for this wonderful presentation that they have given to our club today. As mentioned before, yesterday was International Human Rights Day, and so we were very happy to have Mr. Ramkaran as our guest speaker today. And it's also part of Rotary International's DEI campaign, Diversity, Equality, and Inclusiveness. So this wraps us up for the first half of our Rotary year 2024-2025. So thank you all once again. We will go back to our formal meeting. We will skip the formalities and head straight to lunch. And I will ask Vice President Anasha to take the guests to lunch. Thank you all.